Welcome to this month's Thoughts on Leadership. I was in South Africa this month at the Coaching and Mentoring Conference, and I got me to thinking a little bit about this coaching and mentoring that's going on around the world. Did you realize it's the fastest growing business in the world at the moment? And it's become quite a phenomenon, really, because of all the different people trying it, from career coaching to management coaching to leadership coaching, executive coaching. It seems as though there's every type of coaching there is, including life coaching. Is often talking about a leader as a coach. This is being mentioned more and more at this conference. There was a great discussion about is the leader a coach? Does the leader need a coach? Where does coaching fit into leadership? So I thought this month I was going to talk about the leader as the coach. Let's try and look at this subject. Let's try and get a bit of an understanding of where the leader fits into this whole process. This question of what is the role of the leader in terms of coaching is an interesting one, because when you think about it, we try and talk about the leader being the coach and what he or she has to do as a coach, and then we also talk about the difference between being a coach and being a mentor. I think we would be far better to look at this from a position of what does the person need? What does the person that's getting either the mentoring or the coaching want? And let's try and understand that and then see what the leader's role in it. I like to look at it as mentoring is more in terms of if I'm your mentor, I have some knowledge, I have some skills that I want to share with you. Whereas as a coach, it's like at the other end of the spectrum, because being a coach, I don't necessarily have to have any knowledge or skills about the task, the job, or the position, but I have the ability to draw you out. Let me try and put it into this context for you. Let's say I was coming to work in your organization for the first time. So as I came in, I would look to the mentor as the person who could explain to me how things were done in this organization. Where do you go for things? Who do you contact for bits of information? If I need to know something, where do I need to go for that information? What is the process or procedure needed? What is that noise? So it's understanding. You've got somebody there who you can draw on their knowledge and skills. That's a mentor. A coach is the other end of the spectrum. A coach has got predominantly the skill of being able to ask questions, probably questions that you haven't thought about and maybe even avoiding in your own self. So those are the two ends of it. And I don't like to see it as two individual roles as though they are completely different. I would rather look at it as a continuous line. If we imagine a continuous line, there's on this one end of the continuous line is the mentor, and at the other end is the coach. Then what we have is pure mentoring is based on my knowledge, my skills, and my ability to tell you what you need to know. Pure coaching is about me being in a position where I'm trying to draw you out and help you understand and help you find what you're looking for. And if we look at it in those terms, we can see that there are different skills as we move down. So as we moved from mentoring on the far left of our line, as we get halfway through that process, we've now got somebody who's got quite a bit of knowledge and skills, but they've also got the ability to help people learn for themselves, to discover things for themselves, and draw people out. And then when we get to the completely at this end of the line, as a pure coach, the pure coach is somebody who's asking the person questions, drawing them out, helping them to focus, helping them to define where they want to be in life or where they want to, things they need to achieve, asking them questions that often they're just too frightened to ask themselves. So if we see it in terms of a line, and the mentor is at one end of the line and the coach at the other end of the line, then we can see that the characteristics are two different characteristics, but there is a variation of them that comes in between, if you like. Now, we go back to my original question. What is the role of the leader? Well, as I said, it all depends upon what the person wants. See, where is the person in their needs? the example I gave you of me coming to work in your organization for the first time, I am particularly looking for a mentor, and a pure mentor would be ideal for me. But as my time goes on within the organization, I need less and less of the mentor's roles and more of the coach's roles. And so what I'm looking for as the person that's requiring the support, if you like, will vary somewhere down the line, and it will vary at different stages of my progression with you. So there's not a position that one person can fulfill on an infinitum basis. As a coach or a mentor, you're in a position, and there will come a point where you are redundant from your position. You're no longer required in your position at all. Even as a mentor, I may have the knowledge and skills, you may be the person coming into my organization, I impart the knowledge and skills to you. There is a time when you know as much as I do, and you start potentially to know more than me. And so my ability to mentor you completely disappears. So if we understand the differences here between being a coach and being a mentor, and the stages along the way of the line of being a coach and a mentor, and understand more what people are looking for, now we're in a position to really address the question as what is the leader's role in this whole process. So where does the leader fit into this? What is the leader's role in this whole process? Well, let's go back to what we said. What does the person that's wanting the support need from the leader? And that was going to depend on what their knowledge and skills and ability is. Somebody may need more mentoring and then move into coaching, or some people may already have some knowledge and skills, and the mentoring is not really what's required in this situation. So it comes down to what the person wants. In terms of who's the best person to provide that for them, well, the person to provide that for them is probably going to be in a case of a mentor, probably be a manager. Manager will more typically be the type of person who could give the knowledge and the skills, whereas possibly the leader would be more in terms of being able to coach them and develop them and assist them, if you like. So what's needed is going to depend very much on what the person wants. And I personally believe that the leader's role is not to provide necessarily either the coaching or the mentoring. It may just be that the leader is there just purely to facilitate that process rather than to actually provide it themselves. It could be that they do have the knowledge and the skills that's necessary. They could have the ability to give them that. It may be that they do have the ability to coach. But what's more important is that they're facilitating the process. So if the leader is in a position where he or she is not going to be either the mentor or the coach, then their job is going to be to make sure that the person has the necessary mentor or coach available to them. But not just, okay, well, here's this person, let me just provide him or her for you. The leader takes an active role. That's what leadership is taking an active role in the process. So if I'm taking John on here, I may decide that I'm not the best person to either mentor or coach John, depending on what John needs, but I am going to be the person who's going to make sure that I find the right person to give him either mentoring or coaching, and I'm going to take an active interest in how that relationship between him and his mentor and his coach is working. That doesn't mean that there isn't privacy. If it was pure coaching, for example, there may be a very private conversation. But I would still want to know that John was getting what he wanted out of the process of coaching or mentoring or whatever it is. So I think it's useful to understand the difference between mentoring and coaching, view it as a line with the mentor at one end and the coach at the other and the various degrees between. It's useful to understand that it's possible for a leader not to have to actually take an active role in this process in terms of delivering mentoring or coaching, but that does not mean that they don't have a responsibility to take an active role in terms of supporting the person, making sure the person's got the right mentor and coach, and bearing in mind what we said earlier on, that the coach may change, the mentor may change, it may not be the right person anymore, so the leader is in that position of then finding the right person to take on from the previous person, and so it moves on. So if we understand those particular roles, I've got some interesting questions for you to consider in this month's Thoughts on Leadership. What I want you to do is to think about, where do you fit in? First of all, are you a coach or are you better as a mentor? Where is your skills personally lie in this whole process? Okay, know where you're good. And then start considering, where do I support people best? How do I support them best? Do I support them better as being that coach or as being that mentor? Would I be more effective in facilitating the process rather than being actually the mentor or the coach? Think about those things, because the skills required, if we go back to what we were talking about in terms of the mentor at one end and the leader at the coach at the other end, pure mentoring is imparting knowledge, so the ability to explain something to somebody, show them how to do something, is the real skill here. Pure coaching at the other end is being able to draw that person out, so their skill lies in being able to ask the right questions. And so there's completely different skills. There's some correlation between at both ends, but the real essence of them are different skills are needed at either end. So knowing where you fit into that process, knowing what you're good at, and possibly what you need to develop, is what would be useful for you. I hope this month's Thoughts on Leadership with Round Coaching has been thought-provoking. I hope the questions have got you thinking, and I hope you really do consider what your role is and how you can best support people, because that's what being a leader is all about. Have a really great month, and I'll see you next month. Bye for now.